Hello everybody. And so this is a brand new 29-gallon tank that I'm wanting to do. You can see it's out here in the open, so I'm going to try to make it as nice as we can. So I got interrupted by a kid. Okay, so we're going to try to make this as nice as possible. Make it look nice. Dare I even say aquascape. Oh my gosh. But I'm going to walk you through here step by step on how to set up a new tank. And my inspiration, well, you know, I'm a fish tank guy. I haven't done a new tank in like 2.5 years. But the reason is one of my favorite guppies that I have. I want to be able to enjoy them. So let me show you. It's hard to enjoy one of your favorite guppies when the guppy I'm talking about is tucked away down here in Iraq. That's right. Panda guppies. One of my favorites for sure. And so I'm going to make this tank dedicated to my panda guppies. So it's in a real nice tank out in the open and I can enjoy it. So as you can see, the first step I always do when I get a new tank is I paint it. So in this situation, I think I'm going to paint the back and then this side, because then people sitting in here will be able to see it from that window, and I'll be able to see it from here, and we'll blacken out this china cabinet and this. Now this stand I used to have, this is an old antique buffet I inherited. It's called a buffet. Why? I guess that's what they called them back then, but I actually inherited both of these, this and our china cabinet. So I got mementos and our college degrees and kids baseball stuff and just keepsake collectibles that we like. But this used to have a 20-gallon tank on it forever. This is, like I said, inherited from my great grandma. And so this is probably, it's maple, old antique maple, so it can hold. I know it held a 20-gallon on this for years and years, so it's more than capable of holding the weight. I think a 29-gallon tank fully filled up is somewhere around 330 pounds, so I'm not too worried about that. It's already held a 20-gallon for probably 10 years. If you look, you can see the old outline. Yeah, maybe not showing up on video, but the old 20 gallon high outline is on here. But like I said, the first thing we're going to do is paint it. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Alright, so this is the paint I'm using. Latex flat black paint. So I've painted all my tanks with, and it works out pretty good. So that's what we're going with. Can't find a paint stirrer because this is an old can of paint. So I'm going to try using a piece of PVC. That should be fun. See if I can do this without making a mess everywhere. Okay, so now when we're painting a tank, actually I prefer rollers, but I don't have any rollers laying around right now. So we're going to use this little paintbrush deal here. And, well, you don't want to get a whole bunch of... I find the key is doing small light coats, and 2 or 3. I mean, and it's important to let it dry all the way through each coat. And I mean, I get a little paint on the, I always end up getting a little bit of paint. On the trim. The thing you want to avoid here is runs. So you don't want to put it on too super thick. So when it's a balance of, you're going to spend 5 hours painting a tank, or do you want it to look nice? It's usually somewhere in the middle. This is where I usually end up. So, and make sure you're painting the right sides, because that would be pretty bad if you spend all this time painting this and you get it to its final destination and you screwed up and painted the wrong side. So always be aware of that, because that, I've almost done it before. I did it before, but then I was lucky enough that I could paint another side and didn't screw it up too bad. So I got it, I don't know if that's showing up on the camera right there, but I got it on a little thick. Not too bad. And this is just the first coat. Thing is, with glass, you gotta let it get all the way dry. So if this is any wet at all, when you go to paint it, it's gonna mess up real bad. So now I gotta try to turn this. You can see there's still a lot of stuff that's sticking out. Gotta do this without making a mess. I got these paper towels on here. This is in my kitchen. On my great big huge freezer. So let's see if we can't get a better angle here for this one. Okay. So now we're going to paint the back. I got paint on the freezer. Awesome. Good thing it is latex. Good thing it's latex. Because then you just wipe it off with water. A little elbow grease and water. Not a big deal. I never had to do it before, but if you had to take this paint off, it wouldn't be that hard. Because, I mean, it's just barely sticking to the surface. It's not like it's adhering. It's just a flat, shiny, slick piece of glass. So you probably, like I said, never done it before. But I imagine you just take a razor blade, scraper, and I think it'd come right off. after you let this first coat dry fully. Like I said, it's very important that you let it completely and fully dry, because then you do the subsequent coats. If you don't let it get all the way dry, you're just going to smear off the first coat. So that's why you want to always careful on this edge here, because this edge will be right next to the clear side. So hopefully this ain't taking too long. This video might end up being pretty long. And if you do, like, if you wait for it to get dry all the way, I've noticed, like, if you use a paintbrush, use all your strokes going one way on the first coat, and the other way, ideally, on the next coat, and then you should be able to get it all covered in 2 coats. I've done it in 1 coat before with a roller, but it's not, you know, it's not perfect. And you could spend all day doing this and make it look perfect. But I'm not trying to make it look perfect. I am trying to black out the back and one of the sides. So there's that. Make a nice, consistent coat. Switch in after it. Okay, so now you can see that's blacked out pretty good, but when it starts drying, you'll be able to see little bits of light through, like those little streaks there. Little streaks there. Those will all get covered up in the next coats. So we'll see how it looks like after 2 coats of Mud dry. Okay, here we are now. It's significantly later, but it's still wet down there where it ran down and got to the trim a little bit. But these are the spots we gotta clear up here. Usually 2 coats will do it. Sometimes if I'm being extra picky, I'll do a, why is it so dang, okay, whatever that was going on. But let's get another coat on here and see how it looks. Alright, and second coat just got finished being put on, and I am so confident that that'll do it. I already put the paint up. So if you remember, on this coat we went up and down, and on this last one I went side to side. Same thing over here, it's going up and down, and now on this coat I went side to side. I think it makes a difference. It might not, it probably don't, but it seems to work, and I've painted a lot of tanks, so. Okay, we'll see what it looks like Probably just sit here until morning, and we'll see how that looks. Should be good. And here we are the next day. Paint is dry. Looking pretty good. Of course, all you can see is a reflection because the sun is shining right through the window right on it. So, the tank is painted. That part is done. Okay, so I guess I should talk about why there is a strip of plexiglass bowed on the bottom. So, one of the things I'm trying to do here, or the plan, this is where the aquascaping kind of comes in, is building. This is also serves a purpose. This is a little strip of plexiglass wedged in there. I want to silicone it, but there's going to be a little bit of an elevation change here with river rock around here. That is for the aesthetics of it. And then this back section here behind the wall is going to be jungle Val scenario, and I'm just going to let it go crazy. Let it grow all the way up to the top of the tank, and that will help keep the Val contained, in addition to providing the elevation change and making it look nice. It'll serve a purpose. So I'm gonna get the silicone in this in, and that'll probably be it for the week. So we'll see how this goes smooth. Check back in when I'm done siliconing it. Okay, so she's siliconed into place. So that's what we're doing with here. So now that it's starting to take shape, as I explained earlier, that back section will be Val. It will be allowed to grow as thick as it wants to be. I want to find my nicest crypt that I have, and that's going to be the centerpiece right here in the middle. Maybe a little patch of moss there and a little patch of moss there. I think it'll look pretty cool. So unfortunately that's it for this weekend. So the next time I'm here, it'll be next weekend, because I gotta hit the road for work and be gone all week for work, and all the other most of the stuff should be here, so that'll be fun, and we can really get to setting this thing up. And then this silicone has all week to cure, and that won't be holding me up. I want to get this done this weekend, and I can sit here and cure up for the whole week and be good to go. So that's that for now. Well, here it is the next week. I survived another week out of town for work back home, and I got some goodies in the mail. Oh, what's going on? I want to focus. The filter, Aqua Clear 50, and the heat controller was supposed to be here today too, but I guess it didn't show up. But we can get going with what we have now. Alright, let's see if we can get this light on here. And we have light. I tell you what, these newer model, because I have a whole bunch of these older style Aquanauts, but these newer style ones are pretty sleek. And I always want to get I don't know if it is this way when it comes to the Aquanaut lights. The ones that are just the white and blue lights, those have always been the ones I get because they're brighter. The full spectrum ones, they're not as bright. That's the way it used to be, so I always just stuck with the blue and white lights. Definitely low light setup, but that's what we planned for. What all my tanks are. Okay, I'm not sure exactly. I guess I can unbox the Aqua Clear filter and get it set up on here. See, in the paint. Yeah, there's a few spots. It ain't perfect, but when you look at it from over here, it's not noticeable. Alright. So we'll get the Aqua Clear going. We're set up. Well, so in the process of setting up, I had a few things in mind on how I was going to do a pre-filter sponge, because I run a pre-filter sponge on all my tanks. And I was figuring out how I was going to do it and still have it look kind of decent. So I had some black filter sponge media I went on a buying spree on Wish and bought all the cheap filter media, sponges and foam that I could get my hands on a couple years ago. So I just squirreled all that stuff away, and whenever I could find a use of it, I would make use of it. So after rinsing all the dust and dog hair where it's drifted on it and stuck to it, all I did is take a kitchen knife, put an X about an inch or two down into the foam, one stab going in, and then turned it so that it was an X. The two cuts into the foam were an X. And then I stuck that, now where is it? This come with two of them. Stuck that piece down into the foam and pushed it in there real hard, and it's on there real good. It's not coming off. It's wedged in there. It's going to be easy to pull off and push back on to clean off. So it's a lot better than the big circle ones. Hopefully it'll be easier to clean. So that's just, I didn't plan on doing it that way, but that's the way it ended up happening. It made the most sense. So that's what we got going on. It's just a Aqua Clear 50. Oh, and I'll show you how I prefer to do these. So I'll finish setting up this media tray and I'll show you how I set that up. So this is the media box that it comes with, and I bought these, and I'll show you what I did. So I use the ones that it come with. Now I'm not ever going to use carbon. We have the sponge. That'll come with carbon. Right there, we're not ever going to use that. And we have their ceramic media type stuff and a basket. And we will be using that for sure. But you can fit. Well, mind you, before I make an idiot out of myself, I've never had an Aqua Clear 50. But on all of them, I've always put two of the sponges and the bio media. So let me finish getting this all set up and I'll show you what we end up with. So you can see there's two sponges in there. They're not real easy to squish down in there when you put two of them in there, but they do fit. And the media, the biological media, will chill right up here at the very top. Like that. I'll squish it down in there better, but that's how that'll end up looking. But this actually will not be going in this tank right now. This will be going in one of my established tanks to get some good, get seeded. So that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to cycle it. And that and the use of plants. So that's what we got so far. See where this journey takes us next. So that biomedia is gonna go live in this filter for at least a week or so. This is one of my 75-gallon tanks. But it'll go live in there and collect the bacteria and be seeded, get some gunk on it, and help speed up the cycle. Okay, so now we have the Eco Complete in. Now, if I had to do this over again, I probably would have put this piece of plastic in here a lot higher. But I don't have to do over again. So, I've started rinsing. I got a whole bunch of river rock. Mind you, this is my first attempt at really doing a hardscape. It's normally just substrate, which is usually just blasting sand and the plants. Maybe rock or something here or there, but it's my first attempt at doing something like this, so bear with me. Now, mind you, the piece of the plexiglass, I wish I'd made it taller, but I didn't. So now basically it's just going to end up, I wanted it to be like an elevation change, but it didn't work out that way. I didn't make it tall enough. So now it's going to be a divider, because this back section here will be valve scenario. I'm going to have a really nice crypt here. I believe I want to use a Florida Sunset crypt. It's going to be the centerpiece. There'll probably be a little bit of moss on both sides. Something like that. Nothing too crazy, but something fun. So I want to start messing with rocks and see if I get anything to my liking. So here it is, the rock wall. But most importantly, it is going to keep the valve separated. See that drop off there, the valve will be planted there. You can see how I've done that. All the way down to the other side. I'm sure some will find a way to send a runner into the rocks, but it'll be pretty much contained. If I see one venturing out, I can snip it off. So nothing too crazy or awesome, but I think it'll work. I think it's time to see if this thing will hold water. Let's see what happens when we try putting some water in it. Water in her for the first time. Exciting. Them rocks, these river rocks, I rinsed and rinsed and rinsed them, but they're still pretty gross. They're landscaping rocks. They're river rocks. These like half of a 50-pound bag. Oh, get itself sorted out. You can see all the ick. Get this filled up. Then we'll see about getting, hopefully there's no leaks. Never know, it's a new tank. So get this all filled up. Get the filter running. Hopefully it runs. And see how it looks. Alright, so I got enough water. I didn't put a whole bunch of water in there because I'm still going to have to plant it and get in there. But I wanted to get enough in there to get this filter running, and it's running really good, I'd say. foggy. That's good. That's real good flow. I'm real happy with that. That'll be awesome. It'll work awesome. Okay. Now the next step is I've got to go harvesting some plants. And valves and crypts are not fun to harvest. So it'll be sometime later tonight when I get to doing that, I imagine. But I've only been home from work for about 2 or 3 hours, and we've got quite a bit of progress done. So I'm happy. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and set up I looked and the heat controller come in a different shipment. So I saw it out there, like, I'll go ahead and set that up. So what this is, it's a heat controller, and that's a brand new heater right there. How this works is it keeps a failed heater from cooking your fish. So I have this set at 80 degrees. I just filled it with, I'm not putting any fish or anything in here, at least for a few days anyway, probably a week. But that is, I'm going to have it set at 80. So you set this at 80. This plugs into the power strip down there, the actual heat controller. And then it has a temperature probe I put over here on the other side of the tank. And that's what's reading at 74.3, that side of the tank. And the actual heater itself has a thermostat on it, but we want the temperature controller to be running it. So you set that at 84. So then, in the off chance that temperature controller fails, but the heater thermostat works, it won't get 184. But the heater is going to fail way before this will. I've been using these, and since I started to start using heaters again, and I'm real happy with them, so I just keep on getting them. Inkbird temp controllers. These are just the cheap ones. I think they're the ones without Wi-Fi and all that are like, I think they're 30 bucks on Amazon. But so now that's going. So that's another system set up. Forgot how much work a new tank is to set up. So here it is the next day. I was gonna get some video of it with me actually doing the planting, but it was pretty messy getting all that stuff stirred up, and there's nothing to be, couldn't see anything anyway. So we got our valves in the back with the divider. It looks like I knocked some rocks back. Oh well. Anyway, then we have, this is a really nice crypt I got off of Valley Fish. Hadn't really been doing that great, but it had been growing some and divided itself into, there's the little one, there's the biggest one, there's the next biggest one. So we'll see how that works. They ought to do a lot better than Eco Complete, I'd imagine, than their sand that they'd been coming in, and they're not going to get swallowed up by moss and guppy grass in these in the 40-gallon, like they were in the 40-gallon shrimp tanks. They got the whole front of the tank to do whatever they want, so they should be doing good. So I was going to make this video start to finish from adding fish and everything, but this is just going to be the actual tank setup. I'm going to do the cycling and adding fish part later, but this is what you've seen me get the tank, paint the tank, add equipment to the tank, see what I do with the filter, and if you follow these steps, you'll more than likely have a pretty good tank setup. I mean, there's not anything hard about it. It's just setting up the right environment, giving it time to cycle, having the right things to jumpstart the cycle, having this basic equipment, And I mean, having a heat controller is a little more than basic, but it'll take a while. I mean, it'll take months for this tank to look good. But I knew that when I planted it up. So it's not gonna be like, ooh, oh, awesome, right off the get-go. The plants are gonna make this look cool, but the plants need some time. So look forward to the next video where I'll be adding some panda guppies, and eventually, not yet, I'm gonna give that a little bit of pleco and some shrimp. And this will be a nice little setup going. But here's the actual tank setup and planting. Starting off, that may change. But everyone, thank you for watching. Hopefully you get something out of this. Thank you again for watching. Bye.